Sooner Scoop HD.
Record for Villanova might be a little deceiving. Still Villanova basketball. Just what are you expecting out of this matchup?
I'm expecting a championship program, effort, culture, players. I know how good they are. I know how they're wired. They've had a couple tough, close losses, but, I mean, going into Michigan State in that atmosphere, I watched that game. Iowa State's very hot, and that game went into overtime. Played a rivalry game on the road in Philly. So, yeah, when we look at Villanova, we don't look at their record. We look at who they are, and they're a blue blood championship culture, championship. They got championship players that have been in the Final Four, and we have just a tremendous amount of respect for them.
What are you guessing, man?
Porter, after the Invitational, you guys are in the top 15 in scoring defense. I know it's early in the year, but what have you seen, from the defense early in the year, and is this something that can develop into maybe the identity for this team?
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job contesting shots. I think like making sure, high hands contesting shots, trying to make them make tough twos, tough threes. I think we've defended the three fairly well, and it's going to be put at the ultimate test this game because they shoot 33s a game, and they get you spaced, and they get tremendously fast ball movement. So we're going to have to really defend that three-point line this game, but I think we've been, really trying to make other team take hard shots by high hands, by being positional defense. And I personally think we have just such a huge way to go in defensively, and that's encouraging. But I just think what I like has been the mentality of closing out games defensively. It's so easy to let your offense dictate your defense down the stretch. You miss a big shot, you have a key turnover, and you let it. We had a couple games in a row. I don't think South Alabama scored the last 4 or 5 minutes. I don't think Ole Miss scored the last 4 or 5 minutes. I think we did a good job with Seton Hall in the last 4 or 5 minutes. So I think we've been closing out games with a great defensive mentality.
Will you line up?
Yeah, Porter, you talked after Sam Houston about winning plays and all that. You talked about this team's response, but over the last 6 games, where do you think this group has evolved the most?
In confidence to know how to win games. You look at the shot selection when we were up 14 against Sam Houston, and compared to now you got a lead, all of a sudden we're getting into the third, fourth side real quick, and all of a sudden like we scored with 3 seconds on the shot clock, or we got fouled, or even if you miss, you still just took off. You're up 10, and you just at least went side to side. You made them work, and I think knowing how to close out and win games offensively, what to do, and defensively, what to do, and they've been really receptive to that, you got to find ways to win. There's a million ways to win or lose a game. And I think as the season goes on, you continue to learn that. Finding ways. Winning might be a free throw, a rebound off a free throw miss that you got or didn't get, that you gave up. Those are, you learn that there's a million ways to win or lose games. You got to keep going to the horn's done. And I think that's a really good thing that Villanova's culture is. Watching them. They were down 16 against Iowa State, and they got it to overtime. They were down against Portland, shot the leather off it against them. When you watch that game against Portland, I don't know if you watched it, but they were hot as anything and throwing in long threes, and they battled back in a long digit lead there. So you have this resiliency to keep coming at you when you have the winning mindset. And I think our guys, whether they got down late in the game, they were down against Ole Miss and came back, and I think that's just a confidence to keep going and finding ways to win. I think I see that with this group evolving.
We'll go to Bob next.
Yeah. Porter's like early game of the season, maybe Bijan doesn't get a lot of time. He steps up in another game for like Ortega or Joe. They're not involved. Is there like a balance or a challenge of letting those guys know, hey, maybe go to your night tonight, but we're still going to need you?
100%. It's managing minutes, managing mindset is a big part of our job nowadays because it's not that you've lost confidence. It's just you see the flow of the game going. A great example is Ole Miss. Sam, Tanner's one of our marquee players. It was going well with Sam in there. we were playing a 3-guard lineup. Sam was in there, and Tanner was on the bench cheering. Tanner shot a good chunk when Sam was rolling, and then when Tanner got in there, he made a play. So he's a great example of, it's just a matter of, what's working, what's flowing right at that time. So you're always going to ask those questions when you feel like you have confidence in 10, 11 guys, that some nights guys aren't going to get the minutes, and you're always going to answer those questions, well, he didn't get these minutes. And the challenge is continuing to let them know, keep staying with it, keep your mind ready, because we need you. And we do. We need all hands on deck, and that'll be a big part of it.
Go Joe.
Porter, you talked about Grant before the season being a
Before
shot
what?
clock.
Grant.
Before the season being kind of a shot clock guy for you. Seems like this last few games he's settled in and being in that role, distributing guys leading the shot clock, hitting shots. Just you feel like he's getting more comfortable already for you?
100%. I think one of the things when you have a transfer or a freshman right away at the lead guard where you hand the ball to, you think there's going to be a little adjustment time. And I think he's really handled it well. There's games where the defense has been all over him and he's distributed it, 8 assists. All right, there's defenses where they've moved it out and he got downhill. He had 25 points. He's been really taking what they give him. He can make other players better around him. He had one play where we went downhill and he kept his dribble alive. We went all the way around the basket and he kept, a la Steve Nash, kept it at the last minute, hit Sam for a dunk, making other guys better. But there's one thing about being a transfer, but it's another thing being a transfer point guard, where you're right away responsible that position in a new program. And I think he's handled it as good as anybody in the country at a transfer point. And we both, him and I both think there's a whole nother ceiling to get better. And that's what's really exciting.
Go to Nick next.
You mentioned Sam a couple times in this press conference. You seem to rely on him a lot off the bench in the Invitational. Just evaluate how you think he did during those games and when you see his role at this point.
His role is he uplifts us when he gets in there, whether it's rebounding, whether it's winning plays, 50-50 balls, finishing around the basket, an offensive rebound. He's scoring, I think, 72% from the field. I haven't looked where that's in the country, but I can't imagine it's not in the top 5 or 10. If there's 10 guys shooting more than 70%, I mean, go in the transfer portal, I'm all over you. I probably shouldn't have said that. But Sam is 72% from the field. I mean, he finishes, but the thing about I think about Sam is he uplifts the energy. He uplifts it. We talk to our guys about the old Ray Lewis quote: "Are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer? And are you setting the temperature in the room, or are you just always checking it?" And Sam sets it. He's a thermostat, man. He comes in, that energy's going up. The toughness, the ability, and that's nothing against Tanner. Tanner's a huge energy guy. I'm just saying sometimes bench guys aren't thermostat guys, and he uplifts you, man, and I think it's his mindset why he's been so valuable.
Go to Jesse.
Porter, you mentioned contesting shots earlier. I think Tanner's already got 10 blocks
Yeah.
on the season.
Yeah.
Top 5 in the Big 12. Just especially compared to last year, where has he grown in that area of being a rim protector, and how valuable has that been?
2 things. Physically, he's so much stronger. His lower core, he's bouncing quicker. His quick his base is quicker. He's jumping higher. You're seeing how many roll dunks he's having this year. But physically, he's bigger. And then mentally, he's got a mentality to come protect the rim. It's twofold for him. Mentally and physically, he's grown in that department. He's not afraid to come over and protect the rim. And he physically is strong enough, comes up, gets off the ground quicker, higher. Just a phenomenal improvement in the offseason. And Bryce Daub, our strength coach, has done a great job with him, and all the guys. But he is physically stronger and more mobile, and then mentally, he's got more of an edge to come block a shot.
Eli.
Got 2 for you, one on Bijan, one on Sam. With Bijan, when you think about where he started this year, concussion he was recovering from, and then just working back, what have the steps been to that performance he had over the weekend and this role he can now fill?
For Bijan, I think the steps in the offseason were to get stronger so we could defend better and all that. And he's made an improvement of that. And then when he came back, when he got a concussion, you miss 10 days or whatever it was, it's, the steps were mentally keeping yourself sharp because all of a sudden your minutes weren't there. It's easy to get really down. And I think normally people go through that. Right when he came back, it wasn't, it took him a minute to get back going and feeling where he was. And I think the steps taken for anybody that gets hurt or misses a bunch of practice time is mentally to stay in it. Make your minutes count. Bring your value. Know your value. Stay confident in your value. And I think that's what he's done. And now he's back full strength. He's coming, and he comes in with a great mindset. I think he's really, really trying on the defensive end, which we've asked him to do, and he's done that. But he's been getting his biggest skill. He can really pass the ball. And he's bigger, he's 6'3", he can see things. And when he's defending, and then you add into his offense, he's in a great place. And you still don't know how much your minutes are going to get. You just got to stay ready. He was cooking the other night based on thing. And I love that he has taken the steps needed coming back from that concussion to get him where he's at.
And with Sam, you look across the country, I think there's teams that would be dying to have a guy like him. There's not enough big men to go around. He's got local ties, but how did he come on the radar in the offseason? What was the process of getting him here?
It was in the portal. When he was in the portal, our staff said, he's from Oklahoma. Let's make sure we give him an extra look. And then we started watching him more on tape, and we're like, some of his best games were against the high major teams at Wofford. And we thought, he can do it. And then we looked at his skill set. He's athletic, he's long-armed, he's got nice touch, he's got good hands, he catches everything. We just thought he had a lot of traits that fit what we like. And the fact that he loved, when you started talking about him, he loved Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, those are intangibles that I love. But that's how the process started. He went in the portal, he's from Oklahoma, all of a sudden we really dug into him just to give him an extra look, and then we love what we saw. We just thought that fit us. We weren't worried about rankings and what other people said about it and the numbers. We thought he fit us.
Justin?
Talked about Bijan, a sophomore guard. You got Los, another freshman guard. Just what have you seen out of Grant in terms of his leadership for some of these younger guys in the backcourt?
One of the things I love about Grant is the leadership I hear when the coaches aren't looking. Anybody can say stuff right in front of the coach. Hey, like that. The things that I've heard that he does in the locker room, behind the scenes, at a hotel with the guys in the rooms, what he's doing, the thing that's gotten back to me has been what I'm most excited about Grant. Because leadership, sometimes people can give false leadership. They want to say what you that you want them to hear. They know what I want them to say, and they kind of say it when the coach is in the earshot. But what I've heard about Grant is what I'm hearing is leadership when it's just the guys. That's true leadership. That is something that I think he has really earned the respect of the players in that kind of leadership.
Sooner Scoop HD.